Oh boy. What it do, E-World? Crisscross and wires. Oh man, and we back at it. Honestly, it feels good to sit down, to tell you the truth. Alright, wait a minute. Alright, getting, what it do, E-World? Sound back, let me cut that. There is a delay. There's a delay in my live stream. So if I watch my live stream live for some reason, because I'm in the same, it's my live stream, and it's live, there's like a 30-second delay, which I guess is kind of good, because if something crazy went down, maybe I can shut it off and not be embarrassed by it if I slip and fall or something nutty happen. Anyway, as you guys know, I have been trying to, now being as though this was my first battery build from scratch for my own personal use, quite naturally I was going to go through a learning process and trying to figure out what the best means or technique was going to be for me. You can always watch other people and how they do things and what's good for them. Doesn't always mean that that's going to be good for you, nor is your equipment going to be comparable to what they were using. Now, you guys know in the beginning I was talking about this DIY battery pack, battery welder that I was making, and that kind of turned out to be a flop. Not because it wasn't enough current, because it definitely was that, but because this Arduino board that I'm using to operate it wasn't as good as it was designed to be. Now, did it put out high current and a strong enough current for a good weld? Yes, it did. The problem with this Arduino circuit is that it's not fast enough. When you're welding on circuit boards, you need a welder that is powerful as far as how many amps and how many watts the welder actually is, and that will determine whether or not it can weld through whatever material you're trying to weld, in this case nickel, and the strength of it on how thick your nickel is and what you're adhering your nickel to. Now, that being said, these welders need to be really fast, high speed, as far as the pulse that they weld at. This welder that I have right here, the one that I bought, is a double pulse welder, and you can switch it from single pulse to double pulse. But when I step on my foot switch and it welds, it's like milliseconds. It's thousands of milliseconds how fast that it welds. Okay, this little Arduino board was way too slow. Now, you're supposed to be able to adjust the speed, the gears as they call it, but for whatever reason, like I said, this circuit wasn't designed too well, or it's not operating as efficiently as it should. So the pulse was too long. The pulse was so long and so strong that it would almost melt the little piece of nickel that I was testing it on. So definitely way too strong, and we don't want to put a long, strong pulse on these batteries, because that's not going to end up being a good thing. That's going to, do something we don't want it to do, like set them off. We don't want to take no chances on that. And that's also another reason why, if you go to DIY groups, these battery builders will tell people quickly, oh, you shouldn't solder either, because soldering can also do damage to the cells. Well, any type of heat can damage a cell if it's heat for long term. We talking long term heat, and high heat can damage the cell cycle life. However, that's long term. What people fail to realize is that these cells that we use, and especially the 18650s, the smaller cells, when you're running your bike in the summertime and you have a high output controller, your battery gets super hot, hotter than you can ever imagine. If you were to open your battery pack, or put hands on your battery pack after you come from a long group ride and you guys are flying, and you've been on an hour group ride, you go touch your batteries and see how hot they are. They're extremely hot. Most of the time they're so hot that you can't leave your hands on it. Now, of course there's a certain level of hot where it's too hot, and then at that time your cells will go into thermal runaway, which is what makes them dangerous, and when they normally catch on fire. Most of the time that doesn't happen, because that type of heat can only come from, extreme amounts of high current discharge, or dead short. Now, if your battery pack is bouncing around in your bike and there's a sharp edge or a screw or something that can poke the side of your battery, and rupture the cell and dead short it, then you have big problems then. Because a dead short is going to cause a battery to heat up tremendously in a little bit amount of time, and the next thing you know, you got some fireworks going off. But anyway, I'm not here to go deep on batteries like that, but that is why most people try to deter you from soldering. But let me tell you, if you can solder, and I feel like I can solder very well and have a good soldering iron, these cells will never heat up to the point where as though they're about to burn up. So I'm never worrying about that. However, I still take precautions when I'm soldering my cells. You see, as I went along, I had my thermal gun, and I was checking the temperature on the cells to make sure that I don't have any cell that was damaged for whatever other reason, and that little bit of heat didn't trigger it into thermal runaway. So I take precautions. Is it something that I'm worrying about happening? No, not really. Like I said, if you can solder well, and you see, when I was soldering with that heavy gun I got, man, I can move right along, and those cells cool down immediately. The insides, the internals, never even get a chance to heat up. So all that yada 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 bullshit about, oh, you can't solder cells, look, they can save that shit. I ain't trying to hear it. And like I said, I'm a little more skilled at soldering. That's not going to happen to me. All right, another thing I want to show you guys real quick. See these cells right here? See this welding, this strip of nickel that was welded on here with my welder? Now, this strip of nickel is 0.2 millimeters thick, I believe, or 0.3. It's a very thick strip. It's very thick where it's even kind of hard to bend. That's how thick this nickel strip is. And for a strip like that, you really need a really good high power welder to weld that. Alright, so when I was testing my welder, which is a mid-range welder, it's not the best welder, which is why I was trying to go this route. It will weld the 0.1 millimeter strips and the 0.2 millimeter strips fine. Well, almost fine. And definitely not the 0.3s, because they're not, it doesn't do a sufficient weld that I would feel comfortable with dealing with. Like I told you guys, one thing about batteries that are welded together, if you ever drop your battery pack, you know, just a mistake drop, it doesn't even have to be a high drop, just a drop where there's a jolt, it can definitely break loose one of your cells. And a cell that is broken loose in a battery pack is a dangerous cell, because that cell is going to be making and breaking connection as you ride around and your bike is bouncing around. You know, that cell is going to be, sometimes it's going to be connecting, sometimes it's going to be disconnecting. And if you're drawing high current, the more current you're drawing, the harder that spark is going to be when that cell is making and breaking connection. That is why I chose to solder my cells, because despite what anybody says about soldering, soldering will give you 100% secure, safe, efficient connection. It may not look as pretty as a weld, but believe you me, when it comes to that connection, it is 20 times greater than a weld. Trust me. Welding also will give you some type of resistance if, like I said, if the welds aren't good. If they aren't good solid welds and you don't have a good precision welder, yeah, you can get resistance through those welds because you know, they're not the best connection. So especially when you start laying multiple strips, you know, if you need more than one strip and you're trying to weld through 2 and 3 strips, absolutely. All right, for that reason also is why I decided to solder. Now, I initially was going with what I said was 3 layers, and after you know, deliberating on that a little bit, I realized that that was unnecessary as well. You know, I said the two layers of nickel and the copper was overkill. Same thing with the 3 strips is overkill, because in the series connections in your battery, all right, the series connections are coming this way. So these little cross members there are your series connection. Now, normally when you're doubling up on those nickel strips, you're doubling up on it to double the thickness of the strip so it can allow more current flow. But you don't have to double up on the series strips as much, because as you notice, going in this direction series, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strips. 6 strips in the series connection. So I say that to say you don't need double and triple layer of these strips when you have 6 of them in your series. Well, now parallel is something different. The batteries that this strip is tying together in parallel, all that current is going through this one strip. So in the parallel, you would need another layer of nickel at least, and especially a thick layer like a 0.3 millimeter, you know, not no the little thin ones. So that is the difference. And you know, if you look at that, that should be understandable as to what I'm saying. Like I said, this is the direction in which the voltage is growing and adding up, and these cross members, that's the direction in which the current is flowing, and all these are working together. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So I mean, basically each one of these cells has its own strip, which is more than enough at that thickness for current flow for one cell. So like I said, you don't need as much in those series connections. Now somebody, I'm sure, is going to disagree with that, but no. Anyway, so if I was to just do these, you know, do my battery like this, I would probably put another layer of the real thick nickel like this on my parallel connections, and I wouldn't even worry so much about the series ones. But if I really wanted to make sure, you know, it was getting sufficient amount of current, I would just double these two, you know, and if I doubled them two, that would be more than enough for sure. All right, now back to showing you something on the welding. This is why I'm going to say that soldering is better than welding. Now, like I said, this was a thick nickel strip, but I dropped this little pack. Just like I told you, you can drop it. Now, when I dropped it, look what happened. See that? Now, this is the only strip that was on these batteries. These two cells right here broke loose from those welds. Just like I said, welds could break. Now, can that happen if you have a better welder that is capable of welding through a thick strip like that? Probably not. You know, but who's to say what companies are using? With, I mean, most of the guys building batteries, they have the proper equipment. They have the top best welders you can get. But in my situation, there's no way in the world I feel secure or safe with that, which is exactly why I'm soldering mine. Now, like I said, I can still buy myself another welder, but I'm still going to prefer soldering over welding. All day, every day. And I can also show you how easy it is to remove these welds by removing this strip. See how easy they will break free? Now, like I said, can they break free that easily with a good precision welder? Probably not. But they still can break free easily, even with a good welder. I know that for a fact because I've taken enough batteries apart and what do you call it? I've harvested enough batteries for cells where I know how easy it is to break cells free. Now, even with a good welder, you can break those nickel strips off, and what they'll leave is a whole lot of residue on the batteries, sharp, you know, pieces of nickel, as the nickel is actually ripping, and it leaves, like, however many welds it is, it'll leave 4 little sharp pieces of nickel up there, or 8 pieces of sharp nickel, but it can be peeled apart. I guarantee you if I tried to peel these welds off of that solder, it would be a whole lot harder. Now, can it be done? Absolutely. There's no way I can not rip them off, but would it be that easy? No way. No way at all. I would, on some of those cells, I would probably rip the cap off of them trying to, you know, break that solder. So that is why I'm going to solder. Period. Point blank. End of story. Nobody's going to convince me otherwise. That is my method. That's what I'm going with. So that's what's going to work best for me. Now, perhaps further on down the line, I'll invest in a better welder, and it will make better connections than that. But like I said, at the end of the day, I don't have time for all that right now. Ordering a new welder. If I was to order one, I got to wait on it. I don't want to do any more waiting. I want to build my battery and get it done out the way. Just like I said, I'm not going to keep doing this on camera because that slows me way down. Alright, so let me see. How much time have I used up already running my mouth? Alright, I got plenty of juice left because I wanted to discuss some other things while I prep these cells. I basically was just going to once again talk about myself. Yeah, I want to get one thing straight because I don't want anybody to misconstrue or misinterpret the type of person that I am. You know, I've had comments or people saying that I brag or boaster about what I have, or I'm trying to be boastful when I show what I'm doing, and that's not the case ever. I always try to keep it real, and if keeping it real looks like I'm bragging or boasting, then I don't know what else to do, because I can only show you what I got and what I'm working with. So just let me tell you, I'm never bragging or boasting about stuff that I had, because in my opinion, I'm short. I don't have anything to brag about. Stuff that I want, I don't have. So if it was like that, I would have it. But anyway, I'm also going to say, if I was to ever brag or boast, let me tell you something. Honestly, if anybody could brag or boast about anything, I've earned that right if I was going to do that. Because nothing I have was given to me on a silver platter because I got a rich mommy and daddy, or I got a trust fund, or anything like that. Everything I have, everything I own, I worked hard for. It may not be the kind of work that other people choose to do, but it's what I had to do, and I did it. And if people had to do what I had to do to, survive, they wouldn't do it. So, there's that. Now, I ain't talking about nothing that I've done here lately, because I'm an old man now. But I'm talking about in my younger days, stuff that I did back in those days to survive. I mean, these guys talking that bullshit would never do. Alright, I risk life and limb to take care of me and mine. I risk freedom, and like I said, I risk my life going out to get it. And that's just what I had to do at the time, or what I thought I had to do. So, like I said, they can save all that. Now, I wouldn't even be talking about none of that, but statute of limitations is dead on all the bad stuff that I had to do in the past. So I'm not saying anything about none of that. But yeah, I broke law. But at the same time, I grew up in Baltimore City, and trust me, that's something else that I wouldn't brag upon, because Baltimore City is jacked up. I like to say I'm from Las Vegas or Hollywood or somewhere nice, Miami, you know, from where the rich people from. Nah, man, I'm from where the rats is bigger than the goddamn cats. Real shit. Anybody from up that way knows this. It ain't no lie, ain't no joke. Baltimore is a ghetto from city line to city line. Of course, it ain't all ghetto. They got some nice parts, but unfortunately, I didn't grow up in them nice parts. And I left home when I was 17, and ain't been back since. So, like I say, people can say whatever they want to say. Crisscross and wires, my shit is self-made. Nobody gave me shit. Anyway. I'm going to take a peep at this chat in a minute and see if I'm talking to myself or is anybody else up in here. But yeah, fellas, I just like for some people to know, you know, my story, the real deal, and not going no hearsay or none of that bullshit. Now, like I said, I don't feel great talking about the fact that I was a criminal and broke law, but at the same day, if there's a such thing as an honest criminal, I was that. Because I did what I did, but I did it in the most respectful way that you could do it. Because you see, if I wasn't respectful in how I did things, I would be in jail. For one, because somebody gonna snitch on you when you ain't being respectful. And if I was a boastful, braggadocious type guy, I'd be dead. Because you're not gonna be living in the city or come from where I come from and be the type of guy that's gonna be bragging and boasting about what you got. Because let me tell you, they come for you. And they did. But I handle my business, and at the end of the day, I'm still here. Most of my homeboys is either dead or in jail. Living that kind of lifestyle, that's just, you know, for me to still be here is amazing. So yeah, like I say, I earn the right to talk a little shit. Now, I tried to change my life after that and do the right things and, you know, legitimize myself to the best I could. But like I told you, I ain't never hurt nobody intentionally or, you know, I wasn't that kind of criminal. And like I said, this is eons ago I'm talking about. Because I'm 51 now. And I'm telling you, most of the guys I grew up with can't say that right now. But anyway, I am going to go with soldering steel. I'm going to lay down these double nickel strips. I have some copper. I do want to use copper in the future for future battery builds for sure. Copper is the best. Like I say, I just don't have enough right now and I'm tired of waiting. I could order some and have to wait another day or two, but I want to get this thing done and over with. Now, one good thing about soldering is, no, I can't rip it off, but I can unsolder it. Now, I can take my soldering gun and go right back over this battery over here, and I could lift up and remove all of those nickel strips. So that is one good thing about soldering. The process can be reversed. Is that something I want to do after I did that? Not really, but it ain't that serious. It's not like it was hard work. It was just monotonous. However, to convert this over to copper wouldn't be a big deal, you know, because the cells are already, they already have solder on them. They ready to go. If I was just to heat these strips back up, I could easily pull them off, and I can easily go back with the copper, no problem. One thing about that welding is, even if you have a good precision welder, like I told you, when you rip them nickel strips off, and they coming off because they only tack welds, but it's going to leave a lot of little sharp pieces of nickel residue, and you got to get that crap off. And normally I use my Dremel with a little stone blade, well, not blade, a little stone bit, whatever you want to call it, at high speed, and basically sand them things off. But yeah, talk about work, that's some work. Now, like I said, back to me a little bit. I feel like I am the best of both worlds, because, you know, I was one that not only was I in the streets and ran the streets, so I had street smarts, but I wasn't no dummy either. So, I mean, I could also go to school and learn and, you know, do that too. So, I'm well-rounded, as you would say. Mama didn't raise no dummy. I guess I could say that. You know. Now, I do say it as though I had to do what I had to do, but at the same time, I really didn't, because it was a choice. I mean, I didn't come from a bad family. You know, I came from a good family, to be honest. I just was surrounded by a lot of bad stuff. So, you know, I made some bad choices. But I didn't have to. My grandfather took care of his family. He was a longshoreman. And, you know, I didn't have to do any of the things I did if I stayed home and abided by the rules. But that's my problem. I don't like rules. So that is why I work for myself. I can't work for other people. It just don't work. I don't like listening to other people. That's bad too. That's why a lot of times in the comment sections I get mad when people try to tell me what to do, man. Now that's a bad character flaw, I guess. But man, I do not like being told what to do. If I could handle that, I'd be working for somebody. But no, I can't do it. So I gotta be my own boss. That don't mean I don't work hard. That just means I'm particular about the type of work that I do. I feel like work, your occupation should be something you enjoy. If you're not doing what you enjoy doing as a career, man, I tell you, that's a terrible way to live, in my opinion. I would hate to get up and have to go to work every day doing something I do not enjoy doing. That's got to be the worst. You know, fuck that. You might as well be a slave. Honestly, yeah, you might be getting paid for it, but at the same time, you're a paid slave. Just like with this pandemic shit, man. I'm one of those people. I'm one of those non-vaccine people. I haven't had the vaccine, and I'm not getting the vaccine. And there's nothing you can do to talk me into that bullshit. Now, I haven't had the vaccine, and guess what? I haven't had COVID either. You know why? Because I stay my ass home and out of people's faces. That's the good thing about making it to be old now and don't have to go anywhere, don't have to deal with people, don't have to have people telling you what the fuck to do. Because, man, if I was on a job where they was like, oh, you gotta get this vaccine or you fired, man, fuck you. God damn it. So yeah, this ain't no exciting video. Once again, it's monotonous. This shit is boring what I'm doing. But that's why I'm telling you guys a little bit of my story. Once again, I've said this stuff before, but you know, people always want to believe somebody else and hearsay and rumors and all that kind of shit. You gonna hear it, you might as well hear it from the horse's mouth and hear the truth. But I ain't no bad guy. I ain't never been no bad guy. I might have done bad things, but that don't make me a bad guy. I don't steal people's shit. I don't hurt people unintentionally just to be fucking with people. But I ain't to be fucked with either. Believe that shit. Don't get it twisted. All right. And that's just one side, stick it up. Unfortunately, I will have to do the same thing to the other side. Anyway, let me reach over here and see what's happening. What we got going on here. Oh, Mr. Mike, I would love to have some gold. Have me a gold laced up battery. Yeah, wouldn't that be something? What's up, fellas? What's up, everybody in the chat, man? Appreciate you guys coming, hanging around. Yeah, this one ain't too exciting. But it is what it is. And this will be the last one. Well, you know, maybe I'll do a double tonight, but it won't be no more of these because this battery gonna be done. Hopefully I can sit my ass here long enough today and knock this thing out. Cause I'm only going to do the layer like I said, and maybe go with some of that copper. But see, I had plenty of this, so I mean, I'm going to do it. And ain't nothing wrong with this. Ain't nothing wrong with this nickel. This nickel will work fine. But I damn sure ain't had to do all them layers like I was doing. Now, yeah. There's no way I'll be able to flip this without all these things falling out. So I'm not even going to attempt it. I'm going to get started on this side. What I did with my copper. Man, but like I say, when I was doing the video the other day and I came right back, wasn't nobody. It was crickets. So that's why I rolled out. I ain't come back. Let me see what this battery look like now. 25%. We at 25%, y'all. Like I said, if there's enough people in the house, if they want me to go on, I may run it back on the second one, but there ain't gonna be no more live streaming after the day. I gotta get this thing up in. But I always say I'ma keep rolling, but when I turn that camera off, man, something comes up and it'll be a wrap. But like I said, with this copper strip, man, if I would have been thinking correctly from the beginning, I would have known I could have just went with this copper, soldered that down, and that would be it. This one piece of copper here is all I need. If I came down like that and soldered that on there, bam, 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 it would be done. Done. One hitter quitter. I should have. Unfortunately, this is all the copper I had. Let me tell you, man, I ordered the roll off on Amazon, and I didn't pay attention to how long it was. They had the picture up there, it looked like a big ass roll of copper. And plus I paid a stupid price for it, so I thought I was getting a lot. And unfortunately it wasn't that much. Now, let me see real quick how fast I can have some more of this out here. We'll see what old Bezos, if I can have some more of this by tomorrow, I may go with it. Not only that, I wanted to go with something else too, but I'm not going to put that out there because I feel like if I put that out there, somebody is definitely going to copy that, and I got to be the first one to use that. Mr. Mike, you know what I'm talking about. But, I really just don't want to wait no more, man. I want to get this damn thing done. But let me show you this picture, man. See, y'all see that picture? Look how that look. And I wasn't paying attention, man, at the lengths down at the bottom. So I was thinking I was going to have a nice little roll of copper. And that's my fault for speeding. But when it came, it looked more like that. But yeah. Man, I know I could start with this copper. That wouldn't get me too far though. Maybe I should just do the copper, man, and order some more, man. God damn it. I don't know what I'm rushing for though. It ain't like it's no rush. The weather probably gonna be bad. It rained all day today. Let's see. I don't even know what day it is. It's a damn shame. That's what happened when you like I say, man, the best thing in the world to be is to be self-employed. Now, even though I'm self-employed, I work for myself, I still normally get up at 7 o'clock every morning like I'm going on a job. And I don't go no damn where. But it was raining today, and I was up to about 5 o'clock in the morning sim racing. So when I woke up today, it was 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. And I'm gonna tell you, that's a beautiful thing when you ain't got to get up and go no goddamn where. But like I tell you guys, man, if you guys knew what kind of bricks I had to throw and shit I had to do to make it so, trust me, you wouldn't never want to be in that position. Oh, I wasn't talking about no gold plating. I thought you meant some solid gold strips. Man, that would be wonderful. I'm pretty sure the aliens using it. I ain't even got my soldering iron plugged up. I'm definitely slipping. Don't tell me I ain't got it plugged. You know what? I forgot. This that light got some outlets in it. Just plug up this big monster. All right. I'm pretty sure this camera is going to be dying in a couple minutes. Now I got to figure out if I'm trying to do a rerun. Now there's 12 people up in here. Now, like I say, I will change the battery and come right back. I guess that's what I'll do. Get that little bit of time to heat up. I guess we can put some flux on it. Go ahead and get it ready. Man, and like I tell you, man, this flux right here, you gotta have this flux. And when I tell y'all, man, that solder sticks, I mean, how it adheres to these cells, man, it ain't coming off, man. You ain't gonna have no accidental, no strips popping off once I solder these bad boys. It ain't coming off. That I guarantee. I gotta keep paying attention and see when I freeze up. When I freeze up, I know it's a wrap. Now see, I just got a notification, motion at the front door. But that's somebody parking a car. So, like I tell, if any of y'all knuckleheads is sitting out there plotting on my backyard, let me just forewarn you, bro. Ain't nothing out there worth your life. Ain't nothing out there in that backyard worth dying for. But it's not a game. Come up in there if you want to. Man, let me ask you guys this, man, because somebody, it was only one person. Well, I don't know. Somebody liked that comment. Somebody said they ain't like my seat. It was ugly. But that's kind of funny because everybody else told me they liked it. Now, just like I told them, man, honestly, at the end of the day, I don't care what nobody think about my seat because there's only one ass going on that seat. But, I do like to know what, some people think about stuff from time to time. But is that going to matter? Hell no. Matter of fact, I think I seen somebody in my chat. Yeah, there you go, right there. I don't know if you're still here. Mr. Tactical Dennis. Mr. Tactical Dennis, if you still hanging around, man, I like that little, your little step ladder, bike, your bike hoist. He made a bike hoist out of a step ladder, one of them A-frame step ladders. That was pretty cool. Never thought about that. I know somebody else that had made a bike hoist out of a sex swing. Yeah. Somebody I know from the blast from the past, he had a sex swing. It wasn't a sex swing anymore, but it was a bike swing now. But yeah, he used a one of them dominatrix. He told me it was a dominatrix sex swing, and he turned it into a bike hoist. Shit worked really good. Not gonna lie about that. Let's make some pancakes. Y'all know I always prep these cells by making some little sort of pancakes on them. And I found out this system works well because, it doesn't keep a lot of heat on the cell for a long time. I hit and move, stick and move, stick and move. Now, if I was doing this at the same time when I was laying the strip, I would have to do that, then lay the strip, then reheat it, and that's keeping a lot of heat on that one cell at the same time. So if I go through and do them, pre-do them, that gives them time to cool off. And trust me, like I said, the internals of these cells, they never get warm at all. I mean, I'm sticking and moving, sticking and moving. Then I got a ceiling fan right over top of me blowing down. So these cells never get a chance to get hot at all. And then after I do, but so many of them, I go along with my thermal gun and just double check just to be sure that I didn't trigger anything. I didn't freeze up yet. Look like I'm still moving. When I freeze up, fellas, I'm going to try to hurry up and set. All I gotta do is stick another battery in there, and I had to do another live stream setup on the GoPro. It take me 2-3 minutes, but I will return if it's a reason to return. Honestly, man, it might not even be no reason to come back.